Internet, it's your old friend Dominic Tringali again. I'm back like scoliosis and I'm doing my IMDB review show. Been gone for a while, been doing some traveling, working, and I've also been collaborating with a friend of mine on a new segment for the show. It's going to be a lot more polished than me standing in front of my DVD collection, and it's got some effects and some editing, and it's going to be about video games, so I really hope you enjoy it. I don't know exactly when that's going to go up, but our first video should be done by the end of the month. So let's go down to the brass tacks. This week, I reviewed Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino's masterpiece, and this is the collector's edition. So you gotta get the collector's edition if you don't already have it. So, oh my God, what do I say about this film that hasn't been said 100 times by somebody else? First of all, this was not Tarantino's first film, okay? It was actually his second film that he directed. First, of course, being Reservoir Dogs, and he wrote a movie called True Romance, which was based on a short film he started when he was working in a video rental store in Los Angeles called My Best Friend's Birthday. And so anyway, this film, though, is a prime example of how to do film noir, okay? And he starts off the film by having a black screen. He kind of does a Webster's definition of the pulp genre as a whole, adding to the fact that this thing is a film noir. The things he plays with are amazing, okay? He like all his films, he kind of plays with time, okay? He bookends the film with time, and it becomes this elliptical thing. And he does that a lot with his films, and I think it's really one of the things that defines him as a director and really adds to his style. Some people criticize him because he is untrained, and by that I mean he never went to film school. He's self-taught and he's self-disciplined in how he makes his films. And a lot of the things he's doing is he's actually just copying what other people did. But that's what film is. But he finds a way of breathing his own life into these films. He's got a really nice catalog. If you haven't really watched all of his films, I recommend you do. Even Jackie Brown, which a lot of people say is his worst film, I think it's one of his best. So he plays a lot with dialogue, making the characters very believable, very realistic. Like I said, he plays with time. Music is another big element to his style as a director. And from what I've heard, it's a rumor, is he scores the film before he actually finishes writing the script. And he kind of makes a film for a soundtrack and not the other way around. And I don't know if that's really true, but if you watch this film, kind of think of that. And if you do, you kind of think that it holds some credence to that rumor. And I would be really interested to find out if that's true or not. So what I love about this is that with the final product, it leaves a lot of mystery, a lot of unanswered questions. He doesn't hold your hand and just kind of walk you through the story. It's a developing thing, and there's a lot of things that will be never answered, and that you as the viewer just have to accept that they are true. The most obvious thing that everybody always asks on the internet is, what the hell is in the briefcase, okay? And we'll never know. We don't need to know. It's not important. And it's a MacGuffin. It's an object that everybody is after. Everyone's willing to die or fight for to keep their hands on. And I've heard such mundane things like it's drugs and money, and I've heard such supernatural things as it's Marcellus Wallace's soul. It has something to do with that Band-Aid on the back of his head. And that's supposedly where your soul is kept, and I just think that's all bullshit, and that doesn't make any goddamn sense whatsoever. But we don't need to know. It really doesn't matter. All we know is that the briefcase is important, and there's something in there of immense value to somebody. So getting back to Marcellus Wallace, that Band-Aid on the back of his head. Who the hell is that woman he's having breakfast with when Jules calls him from Jimmy's house? Okay, we never know who that white woman is in the bathing suit, but we don't need to know. But it's one of those other mysteries that bothers me. When I watch this film, I don't necessarily get too excited about anything, but I definitely ask myself, like, what the hell is going on with this white woman? So speaking of being at Jimmy's house, Jules, played by Samuel L. Jackson. What's their relationship with each other? Like, why does Jules, who's like this hardcore gangster who kills people, why does he take shit from Jimmy, who's, from all intents and purposes, is a guy in a bathrobe, hanging out at his house at like 10 a.m. in the morning, on a weekday, I suppose. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. All we know is he lives in Toluca Lakes, and his wife Bonnie's going to be home really soon from the hospital. And they have some sort of relationship with each other that he's willing to help him, but we don't know what the fine details are, and we never will know. And we just are forced to accept that as truth. Other mysteries that really kind of get at me while I have some time to talk. Oh, John Travolta, okay? Number one, why did he spend 3 years in Amsterdam? Okay, we never learned that. I guess you can, because at one point Tarantino said that all his films are connected, and so we assume that Mr. Blonde, whose surname is Vega, and John Travolta's character, who is also surnamed Vega, that they're related. They're supposed to be like brothers, I suppose, working in the Los Angeles underbelly criminal syndicates. But that's never really explored either. But why was he in Amsterdam for 3 years? Was it for work? Was he a drug addict before he went? Did he become a drug addict while he was in Amsterdam? What's going on there? And we'll never know. Another thing, why does he spend so much time in a bathroom? Okay, bathrooms are anyone who's a filmmaker will tell you bathrooms are not a great place to film. They're tight, so you can't get a lot of equipment in there. The lighting is typically pretty shitty. A lot of times when people film in bathrooms, they actually build exaggerated bathrooms to make room for all the cameras and lights, if they're going to film in a bathroom at all. And it's why a lot of people avoid bathrooms. And I mean, what the hell is in a bathroom that's so exciting? People know what you do in bathrooms, and it's nothing good. But he's like in the bathroom in the diner. He's in the bathroom when he's at Mia Wallace's house. He's in the bathroom in Butch's house. What the hell's going on there? I have no idea. He spends a lot of time in bathrooms, and then there's a guy in the bathroom with a gun. There's a lot of bathrooms in this movie. If just kind of think about that for a minute, and what does that all mean? There's a bathroom also in the hotel room that Butch and his girlfriend have together. And speaking of Butch, that watch. Originally, from what I understand, they did not have answers in the original script of why the watch was important. And the scene where he tears apart the hotel room looking for his watch, he says, "I don't have time to get into it. It's just a really important watch. It's my father's watch." From what I understand, they went back and filmed the Christopher Walken cameo scene later. And if that's true, I'm glad they did it, because it's one of the best scenes in the whole film. I probably could repeat the dialogue from that film verbatim. It's one of my favorite scenes in all of film. It's telling. It really makes Butch a whole person for me. He's not just some plot device to propel the action. What else can I say that's really important, mystery-wise? Oh, so this is outside the film, but why did John Travolta never reprise any roles with Tarantino? I mean, a lot of actors that work with Tarantino, they end up working with him again. And unless my memory is failing me, he's never actually worked with him again. And I don't know if that has something to do with the Church of Scientology putting their foot down, announcing that Tarantino is an SP or suppressive person or whatever the hell they call those guys. I really don't know. And if anyone has any information on that, throw that down in the comments below. But this film really gave him a major shot in his arm as far as his acting career goes. He was kind of, his acting career had kind of cooled down to a dull temperature, and this really got people excited to work with him again. And he's got a lot more roles after that. You know, and Samuel Jackson, he's probably done like every damn film with Tarantino since, except for like, let's see, let me think, Inglourious Bastards, and his first film, of course, which was Reservoir Dogs, but he wasn't in that film. So, I mean, you understand what I'm saying. Like, a lot of actors, they work with him again, and it's just kind of strange that John Travolta never did. So, this is probably the 20th or 30th time I've seen this film. I remember watching it when I was 9 or 10 years old, when my parents were away on business. They had a very extensive film collection, much like mine back here. And they were probably none too happy that their 10-year-old was watching this film, because it's rated R for a reason. But I have a long-standing history of doing shit like that. So, I mean, I watched Easy Rider when I was 3 or 4 years old on Laserdisc. One day when I was staying home sick and my parents were sleeping. So, I mean, thanks Mom and Dad for getting me into film and never really having too much of a problem with me watching inappropriate, subject materials. Because I love this film so much, because it is such a fundamental part of my love of film in general, I'm going to give it my coveted #1 position. Of the 5 films I reviewed so far, I think this one is the best. And I think it's pretty much going to hold on to that title for a while. So what else can I say? Oh, so since I did the show, I got some really great people who have subscribed to the show in my absence. I'd like to make a shout out to, I believe his name's Matthias. Your kind words really made me happy, man. They really meant something to me, and they got me, to get off my ass and do these reviews again, and to push for this other project. So in celebration of that, I'm doing a 50th subscriber contest where I'm from now until a week from now, I'm going to have anyone who comments down below is going to be entered into a contest to win something. Since I'm not one of those million, subscriber, YouTubers, 50 I only got 50 subscribers. Well, I have 49. Hopefully this review is going to propel me past 50. But whatever takes less time, either I get 50 subscribers or a week's time, whichever is less, whatever takes longer, I guess, actually is what I meant. So I'll reveal the winner and the prize in my next video, from week's time from now. God, this is really floundering at the end. I thought I had a good pace going. Wow, man, just what else can I say before I run out of time here? This video is kind of getting longer. Yeah, so like I said, if you don't already have a copy, you need to go out and buy one. I think the collector's edition is probably the best one for you. Get the badass motherfucker edition if you can. If you don't like this film, I'm just going to say you're a fool, and I'm going to come over to your house and get medieval on your ass, work you over with a blowtorch and a pair of pliers. Join us next time when I review the good, the bad, and the ugly. And like always, I'm Dominic Tringali. I watch these movies so you don't have to.